Most UGC creators pitch once or maybe a few times and then don't hear back and give up. Here's why you should stop doing that and what you should do instead. So to understand how pitching works, you need to understand the consumer funnel. The consumer funnel is basically how you move throughout a buying process. So when you're first introduced to a product, you are unaware. Let's take this brick device, for example. When I first saw this brick device on social media, I saw a creator talking about it. I was completely unaware that this existed, or really that I even had a problem with my social media or my phone consumption. So this is where I entered the funnel, right? This is where you have people entering the funnel in the unaware section. Once I started seeing some content, I started moving into the problem aware section. I started noticing more accurately that I was actually having a problem with controlling my phone use. So I started to move into the problem aware section. As I'm getting more aware of this and noticing this more and more, I start researching, okay, what are some solutions to help with this phone consumption? You could look at the time limits on your phone, but you can get around those pretty easily. You can look at all the other platforms or apps that you can download, but a lot of them are easy to get around. So once I realized that there was a lot of solutions, that's when the brick came in, and I realized that I now had an awareness around a brick that could be used to block my phone, and if I left the house, I couldn't unblock my phone. So I'm now brand aware and I'm locked in. And then the most aware is when you have that opportunity to pull the trigger and you move out the bottom of the funnel. So this is a basic consumer funnel of how you pretty much purchase any product. Now, how does this relate to pitching as a UGC creator? You are selling a service and the brands follow the exact same funnel. So the first pitch that you send to a brand, you're now putting all these brands into the top of the funnel. Top of the funnel, sending pitches, hundreds of pitches, hundreds of pitches. You're sending tons and tons and tons and not hearing anything back and not hearing anything back and not hearing anything back. And you're like, what is wrong with me? All of a sudden, one brand falls out the bottom of the funnel. Why? Because they've seen your pitches enough. They've seen your content enough. They have a need now. Maybe they finally have a campaign that they want you to be in. They're ready to hire you now. But if you stop filling the top of the funnel with new pitches and reaching out to new brands, how do you ever expect any brands to fall at the bottom? So with a lot of my students, we have this conversation where it's like, week one, don't expect to hear anything back from brands. You sent 100 pitches and that's 100 brands that are shoved in the top of your funnel. Week two, you now have another 100. Week three, you now have another 100. Week four, you now have another 100, and so on and so forth. I actually recommend doing 200 or 300 a week, but this is neither here nor there. At the end of this, in 1 month, you now have 400 that you've shoved in the top of your brand funnel. Eventually, somebody is going to fall out the bottom, but this is what we call the compound effect. But most people will reach out to one brand, not hear back, say, boo, I suck, and then never ever fill the rest of their funnel. So you have to treat reaching out and pitching like a consumer funnel if you actually want to make money in UGC.